So today you're going to be joining me for something. That was the whole reason why I started to make these car camping videos about a year ago now. As tomorrow I'm going to be taking part in a 6-hour challenge run event. And after the hoo-ha last time I went car camping of trying to set the car up inside the car, I'm rather pleased that this time the car's already set up and I'm ready to go. Today we are off to Ramsgate. Now Ramsgate is another place that I don't think I've ever been before. If I have, then I don't remember. So it'll be interesting to see if I remember it when I get there. Unlike most car camps, I know tonight where I'm going to be parking, because what's quite handy is where the start line is. It's basically next to the seafront on a road where there's no parking restrictions and no parking charges, so it's completely free. And I've checked on Google Maps, and as you can see here, basically there's motorhomes there, so I know it's fine to park. The only thing I don't know is if it's flat or not. So to be on the safe side, I've taken my 2 bits of wood that I once mentioned in a video, but I've never had to use before. It's funny, I mentioned in the last video how much darker it's getting now, and just to confirm that, I've had to take a couple of hours toil today, because I always like to get to somewhere when it's still daylight, and the problem I always had with when it started to get dark early was if I didn't go till after I finished work, it's always nighttime by the time I get there, which is always a bit pants really. So although, by the time I get there it will be dusky, so I might be able to show you a little bit of Ramsgate. I am quite apprehensive about tomorrow's run. I'm definitely nowhere near physically or mentally ready for a 6-hour challenge event, but to be honest, my plan was only ever to run a half marathon. Now a half marathon on tomorrow's course is 3 laps, it's 4-point-something mile laps, so that's my minimum target. But the only problem with that is the most I've actually run probably in the last month is only 3 miles, and even that was difficult. Well, we're getting there. We are only 10 minutes away now, and as you can tell by the quality of the light, we are losing sunlight to... Oh, you nearly went the wrong way. There you go. And that's the problem with talking to a camera and trying to drive. This is it. We are here. It looks alright. It looks exactly like how it looks on Google Maps, to be fair. So I think we'll just drive down a little bit more and maybe park here. Yeah, that's good enough to start with. Here we are on the Ramsgate seafront. I'm not entirely sure if I will keep the car here or not. I'll have a little walk around while there's still a bit of sunlight, but basically this road goes all the way down and it's free parking all the way down, so I already know that. And I've just got the measure out and it's level. It doesn't feel level, but apparently it's level. So yeah, it's all cool. So what I'm going to do now, I'm going to set the back up, put the blackouts on, and then we'll go for a little wander around Ramsgate. It's a fairly massive moon tonight, it must be said. The GoPro won't be able to appreciate it, but it is fairly huge. But this is our view for the night, kind of. I've got to walk up some steps to get here, but just in time for a rather blinding sunset. And then that's me down there. Well, interestingly, I'm up top, but all of this area is completely free parking too. Obviously not if you're a caravan, but how cool is this? Just a massive empty road. As much as I feel like I should move the car down here because it's relatively quiet. There's a couple of motorhomes down here. It just feels a bit too quiet. In some respects it is really nice. You've got the sea to your right, and it should be nice. It just doesn't feel right. You know when you know something doesn't feel right? There's something about it. I don't know what it is, but no, I will stay where I am. It is so dark, I'm not really going to be able to film. Red light. Green light. Ah! No, so I'm not going to be able to film too much, to be honest, because it is so dark. But it is really pleasant tonight. There's a slight chill in the air. It's not too bad. In case you never knew, that bright star next to the moon is Venus. And that's it, we're all settled down. I've got my all important coffee. I've got my food all set out. Now I'm just going to drink this and chill out for a bit. Although annoyingly, when I parked up here, I did my level thing and it was flat. But sitting in the back now, I know it's not flat, and I've just done the level and it's 3 to 4% that way. So that's not enough to use my little planks of wood. I think my planks of wood are more so if you want a massive gradient. So I'm going to see how it goes. I don't do well on slopes. I've got I get really bad motion sickness really easily, and actually just being out of level makes me feel sick. So I will see how I go, but looking at the road, I think it's the same all the way up and down. So unless I go down to that bit at the front down there. And to be honest, although it was quiet and although it looked flat, it just didn't look right down there. Don't know why, but I think it was too quiet and the end of a road, and it just felt a bit dodgy. And I could imagine as well, boy racers will be down there quite happily, wheel spinning around left, right and centre. So it's safer being up here in the long run. But we shall see. I can do that thing I've done before where if I lean into a gradient, then I tend to be okay. So I might have a little go with that in a minute, see if that counters it. Now I totally know the real reason why you all like to watch me is because you love seeing me eat my pot noodles in the back of my car. Well, tonight things are going to be a little bit different. I don't have a pot noodle in sight. What I do have though is a can of chicken in white wine sauce, and something you'll be extremely shocked to see. Vegetables. Yes, it's true. I am back on my lovely keto diet, so that means basically no carbohydrates, high fat, minimal vegetables, not a lot of fruit. For the first time in months, I'm going to be cooking with the stove inside the car. I haven't done that for a very long time, mainly because when I was in Lenham, I think I got carbon monoxide poisoning, and then when I was in Edenbridge, my CO2 alarm actually went off when I was in the car. So I know the CO2 builds up in this car even with the windows down. I haven't really used it an awful lot, but tonight, because of the diet, I do really need to use it. So I've got my carbon monoxide alarm, as you saw, so at least I'll know if it goes off. Yeah, this is all right. That feels okay. I think the bed kind of slightly mitigates it itself because I've got the foam on the sunbed. I think that might even it out slightly. That doesn't feel so bad, which is good. Problem is the amount of times I've gone car camping and I've slept on a slope and then I go home the next day and I just feel sick. So that's why I'm quite reserved about the idea of sleeping on a slope, and that's why I'm so funny about it, because otherwise it ruins Saturday. And also tomorrow I've got the run, so I need to be on it in the morning, and more to the point I need a decent sleep, otherwise I'm going to be dog tired as well as physically tired. But right, okay, now we've done that, I'll try not to fall asleep. And there you go. My first time using the stove in the car for God knows how long. Well, the CO2 alarm's not gone off, so that's reassuring, and that might actually change my perception on using the stove in the car again. I've got these two windows cracked a little bit. That's the advantage of having the rain deflectors on, and I've only got the gas on a very light heat because I don't want to blast it. And the advantage of cooking in your car as well, though, is that it does heat it up. I mean, to be honest though, it wasn't that cold anyway. I know it's sacrilege to say this, but that was so much nicer than a pot noodle. Oh yes. Yep, I think times may be a-changing. I think the stove is going to come back out. I've overcome my fear of using it. I've used it, the alarm's not gone off, everything's good, the windows are cracked, so yeah, on with the proper food on future car camps, methinks. Well, I've just put a message out on the community page to say this, but I am sorry to say I have left my phone charger at home, which pretty much means I'm not going to be able to do a live again because my phone's already on 69% and I need to keep charging the phone for tomorrow. I can't even use the phone now, so I don't really know what I'm going to do tonight because normally I muck about on my phone. I might just have to sit here and listen to my thoughts or something. Not one to be defeated, I used that good old invention called Google to see if there's any shops close to here. And there were a number. There was a Co-op and a Londis and a Tesco. Co-op, no joy. Londis, ta-da! One iPhone cable. So I'm going to make sure this works, and if it does work, then there is no excuse for me to not do a live. And if you're watching this bit, it means I did do the live and you already know about my adventure. Let's see what happens. Well, this is an absolute first for a car camping video. I've just done my first live, and considering I was exceptionally nervous about doing it, there's nothing worse than putting yourself out there and hoping somebody comes in. And actually the live went really well. Thank you everybody that joined, and yeah, we had people in for 100 minutes. I've just sat here and spoke to 400 for 1 hour and 40 minutes, and as I said in the live, my voice box hurts now, and I can't believe I have to do more filming to end the end of this video. But no, that worked really well, and no, I genuinely am very thankful for everyone who came along and stayed the duration. And it was a very wide remit of people. We had Colombia was the furthest, and then we had Manchester, South London, North London, Hertfordshire, Norfolk, Leicester. So we had a very wide range of audience, and I love the fact that actually, so this is me talking to you now, it was lovely to see so many of you are actually all car campers too. And I think that's a great thing about my channel. I suppose it makes sense because I film a lot of tutorials about my setup, and I film a lot of tutorials about gear that I use, so it makes sense. So it's actually it's the best thing I could ask for, really, isn't it? I mean, to have an audience of people who are either car camping or just about to car camp, and quite a few of the people on that chat just now are in that exact boat of they're either just about to do their very first car camp. That's you, James. Hope it goes well, because that's tomorrow. And people who are debating if they can. That's UD. And CA, I think it was too, wasn't it? No, definitely D. Sorry, I've got so many initials and names in my head now. But no, so it was really nice. It was really nice to have a chat with people, and it worked really well. So thank you, everybody. And what I will say is I probably will do lives every now and again. I don't want to do it every car camp because I don't want it to become boring, like, oh, it's another car camp, it's another live. But maybe, yeah, I'll just chuck them in every now and again. The one I just did, I didn't notify you that I was doing it. I just did it. So I think in the future I will apply that logic, because that way I can start a live, and if no one comes, then I can just hit end. But anyway, that worked. No, that worked really well. So for the 100th time, for everybody that joined for the actual live itself, thank you very much. Actually, one last thing I want to say about that live. Now, I've only ever said this once in a video. It was a while ago in Lenham, that I actually have a nervous stutter. And actually, in terms of doing a live, that was a part of me that was nervous about doing it, because obviously, nervous stutter, live, people, stuttering, embarrassing. But actually, I'm really impressed with how my little stutter performed. I think you might have heard it once or twice sneak in there, but otherwise it performed really well. And that's a comment on yourselves as subscribers and people who regularly comment on my videos, that I feel comfortable with you. And that's the thing with stuttering, you stutter with people who you don't know. So yeah, it was obviously a lovely vibe in our virtual room. So to be repeated again at some point. Now, something we were just talking about in the live was basically me starting a sub channel, and it's a sub channel called Porta Potty Cam. And in the sub channel you will pay to view to watch me using the porta potty. It's an early idea at the minute. I mean, we've just been thrashing the idea out on the live, but I'll give it some thought. It's not a completely poo idea, and yeah, we'll see how it goes. Well, it's 11:30, and to be honest, I think I need to go to bed. I've got to be up at, I think, 6:30 tomorrow, which is a lot earlier than normal. So yeah, I need to shut my eyes. And I think, to be honest, I could do with resting my voice box after that live extravaganza. But I did get a very handy tip from James on that live, where I'm on the 4% gradient. And although I've got my wood with me, and that sounds wrong, although I've got my wood with me to put under the bed, is the theory, basically the wood's too thick so it would give me too much gradient the wrong way. But what James's idea was to put something under my foam mattress, because I've got the foam on top of the bed. So I've jammed my coat down there, repositioned the foam a bit, and you know what? I think it's actually working. So fingers crossed, touch wood, in the morning you'll see me without a stinking motion sick headache, and hopefully I will sleep through the night and there'll be no knocks on the door or anything like that. So yes, on that note, I am going to stop talking and I'm going to go to sleep. So I will see you in about 1 second's time. Night night. Good morning everyone, and as suspected it was super quiet here last night and I slept like a baby, a good 5.5 hours solid before I woke up. So the coat trick worked. I mean, I do feel a bit off, a bit skew-whiff, but nowhere near as bad as I have done in the past. But right, as you can tell by the fact this light keeps going out and the other light's flicking, I'm not going to film too much this morning. Everything's going a bit pear-shaped. You know how sometimes you put something down and then a little pixie comes along and moves it? Well, that's happened. I went to the toilet this morning, put the remote control for the lights literally on the floor next to me, disappeared. Yeah, so I can't do anything with the lights. I can only have them on really light settings, like number 1. And I think because I used the stove this morning to boil my water, I can't use my nice camera because it keeps steaming up. The blue tack won't stick to the roof because of the moisture. So this is the downside of using a stove. It affects everything. Well, it certainly affects technology. And my GoPro battery won't work either. It's still got 30% left. But anyway, nothing's working and I need to get out in about 25 minutes. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to drink my coffee and then I'm going to get dressed and I'm going to scoot down. So I will see you on the way down there. One last thing before I get ready. This is the advantage of leaving all the old lights in place, even though I prefer the new lights, is that if ever there's a problem with the new lights, I can go old school. Well, I'm not sure if that went off because my trousers fell in front of the alarm or it's because of CO2 again. I'll have to test that later, see if by covering up it makes it go off. Hopefully it's that and I haven't just tried to poison myself again. Haven't even done the customary look out the window yet. Although the forecast for today was actually for rain, I think it's fairly safe to say they might have been wrong. It's a lovely morning. Something I didn't get around to talking about last night, in terms of what I'm doing today, which is a lapped challenge run. Actually, this is absolutely perfect for someone to get into running, basically, but to do an event, but without the stress of having a target to reach. Because the point is with this event is that you can run as much or as little as you can. So you can literally do 1 lap and get a medal for a 5k, or 2 laps, 10k, so on and so forth. So it's a perfect run where you have no stress about how much you can run in total. Good morning, Ramsgate. All I need to do now is find the start line. But what my plan is, right, so the plan for how I'm going to shoot this run, I'm not going to shoot it, I don't think, how I normally shoot a run. So, because I'm just going in circles, so there's not a lot to show you. But I think I might do a run lap counter with the occasional bit of speech thrown in to let you know how I'm going. So yes, the target is 3 laps, and that's 13 miles. So this might only be 4 mile laps, but there's some hills in these laps. And what's rather cool, I just met someone I follow on Instagram, they followed us back. So if you're watching this, Sarah, it's lovely to meet you. But these are definitely awesome views to run to. That's lap 10.
10 laps for Matt. I think he won.
Hey, I'm done. Cheers, thank you. That's lap 1 done, which is 4 miles, just over 5k. A few niggles here and there, but I need the running brain to kick in, so hopefully that will happen soon. So you've got a smile for YouTube.
Smile for YouTube.
And that's lap 2 done. Now we're on the 3rd lap, so by the end of this I'll have hit my half marathon target. And actually, interestingly now, this is the furthest that I've run in months. I've currently run, what, 9 miles, so very good. Oh no, 3 sausage rolls, be a bit. 4? No, 3's alright, that'll keep it going. Yeah. Well, I've done my 3 laps. I did start a 4th, but to be honest, I'm going to be sensible. Now, whilst the runner part of my head wants to carry on running and really push myself, the sensible part of my head tells me I can feel my tendon starting to twinge. So I don't really need to do a 4th lap. My target was to do 3 laps, and I'm gobsmacked I've managed that, to be honest. So I'm going to be smart. I'm going to turn around, head back to the finish line, grab my medal. It's been a great run, and I am well chuffed that I've managed the half a marathon. Well, that's it. That's the run all done, and I'm back in the car, and it feels like I've timed it just right because it's just starting to rain. But they did forecast rain, but I managed to avoid it. Now, I'm also super pleased I hit my target of 3 laps, so a half marathon. That, to be honest, I didn't think I'd do it, given how much I haven't run lately. So I'm well pleased I've done that. I'm guessing you probably want to see my medal and my goodie bag. So my medal today is, I'm a heffalump. It's the Winnie the Pooh event, basically. And this will go into my lovely pot of medals that I've got at home. Now, the most important bit, the goodie bag. What do I get in the goodie bag, I hear you say? Important bag of crisps. Everyone loves French fries. Aero dark and milk. Mini cream biscuits. Sweets. Viscount bar thingy. Fox triple bar. One last thing. Can't go wrong with a Terry's chocolate orange, can you? Well, this has certainly been the most significant car camp I've ever done, having done my first ever YouTube live and finally having done a decent run. So it's been good. And I hope you've enjoyed the format of this video in terms of the poll I did recently where people prefer my talkie-talkie. And if you saw my live, you'll know how much I like to talk, because I talked for 100 minutes. So that video is up and you can see it if you want to watch it. But otherwise, I am going to Pootle home. It's been an excellent car camp. It's been an excellent run. I'm hugely thankful for everyone that took part in the live. It was awesome. And I will do more. So keep an eye out. And if you see a live pop up, hop on and say hi. And I will look forward to talking again. But now it's time to go home, have a bath, have a snooze, and then start to sift through this footage and prepare to edit. So until next time, take care. As a special treat for the 100% Club, I thought you'd like to know whilst the pixies did hide it, I found it. Bearing in mind, I put it here in the morning. I've just found it hiding all the way under there, and there is no way that I ended up putting that there. So to the friendly pixie or spirit that was having a laugh, well played. Anyway, I'll see you later.